In the days of slavery in Benin, tribal kings who were at war would organize raiding parties to attack rival tribes and catch strong men and women to sell them to Europeans. Africans sold their own before the colonists came, but with their arrival, it became an industry. The kingdom of Dahomey was the most powerful kingdom in the land that would later on become Benin, and using its supremacy in war built its fortune selling slaves. The kingdom of Dahomey also owned a land called Wida, where the most important slave port was located. It was in Wida that kings were allowed to come and sell slaves to European merchants as long as they paid taxes. In Wida, hundreds and thousands of slaves were sold. The sale and auction of slaves happened at the Chacha Square in Wida. It was here the kings would meet European merchants from the Netherlands, Denmark, United Kingdom, France, and Portugal to sell their captives to the highest bidder. Each European country's dealings had its forts in Wida, where the merchants would keep slaves like stock until the arrival of boats. Francisco de Sosa grew to become very successful and was frequently seen on the square, rushing his staffs and the slave as they went about with their trade. The interjunction for quickly in Portuguese being cha, cha, cha gave the popular slaver the nickname as Chacha and the Square because he lived right in front of the slaving square. Till this day, there are many statues commemorating the slaver, which is a controversial topic in Wida because they say an evil man like that who made trading humans as business shouldn't be immortalized. The Dahomey kings were known to employ magic to help their trades, and as such, along the slave trails were left different elements, giving supernatural powers to help them in their evil businesses. The first stop along the slave trail of Wida contains such an element. Europeans desired slaves whose memories would be wiped clean of any remembrance of their culture, family, and homeland. The kings were afraid that if the slaves knew where they came from, they would be able to flee and come back to their lands, so a magical tree was used. It was used to make them forget all their roots. Men were asked to turn around the tree 9 times and women 7. After which it was said that the magic of the tree would make them forget all their ties to the land they were brought from. There was a place called the House of Zomai. The House of Zomai was an emplacement, and there was a tiny house in it. In this house, without windows or lights, hundreds of slaves were squeezed and kept here for 2 weeks. Slaves were fed once a day and not allowed out, even to ease themselves. The goal of keeping them here for a while was to disorient them, as they would spend days without light and would not know how to escape once they were pushed out. It was forbidden for slaves to speak, and those who were caught doing so were immediately gagged. Before slaves were brought to the House of Zomai, it was made sure that prisoners with any link, such as people from the same family, friends, or even people from the same village or tribe, were divided. Many prisoners died of the horrid conditions in which they were kept. Those victims were then thrown in a mass grave nearby.